Hello, beautiful people. It's Lulu. Welcome back to the Lulu Essey podcast, unedited and always from the heart. Today, we're talking about something that's happening right now in real time in most of our lives. We're talking about how ideologies, beliefs, politics, values are tearing us apart from people we love. And importantly, we're talking about how to stay in a relationship with people you disagree with without losing yourself in the process. This topic was inspired by an interview I recently heard with Brené Brown, and it's been sitting with me ever since. Because we're losing relationships over beliefs, not because we don't love each other, but because in most cases, not all, we don't know how to hold both conviction and connection at the same time. And I want to be clear up front. This is not about tolerating harm. This is not about staying in relationships where your dignity or humanity is being attacked or denied. We're going to talk about that boundary. What this is about learning to navigate disagreement when the foundation of mutual respect is still there. I'd love for you to share this episode with the people in your life who need to hear it. I think a lot of us are struggling with this silently, and sometimes just knowing we're not alone makes all the difference. I'd like to start with something that happened to me recently, because it captures exactly what so many of us are experiencing right now. I was at a small, intimate dinner with people I don't know that well. And since moving to the US in late 2020, I've watched division deepen. I've become someone who usually stays far away from conversations about politics or ideologies in public setting. I never usually broach them with people I don't know well. It just feels too risky. But on this particular evening, the conversation was rapidly moving in that direction. And I thought I was safe. I shared my feelings about a certain politician, and the table went silent. The air became thick. You could have cut the tension with a knife. And I realized, even with all my caution, even with all my effort to read the room, I'd still miscalculated. That's how fragile things are right now. That moment stayed with me because it wasn't just about politics. It was about how quickly connection can fracture when beliefs collide. And it made me think about all the relationships that are straining or breaking right now. Not because we've stopped caring about each other, but because we often don't know how to bridge the gap when there is a difference in their values, in their ideologies and beliefs, and ours. Here's what's happening in most cases. We're letting ideologies become more important than the people we love. We're making being right more important than being connected. And under that is often fear. Fear that if we stay close to people who believe differently, we're complicit. Fear that if we don't draw a hard line, we're weak or we're betraying ourselves. Fear that disagreement means we can't coexist. And I get it, because some beliefs do matter deeply. Some things aren't just differences of opinion. They're about justice, safety, dignity, humanity. And I'm not asking anyone to minimize that. Here's the question I invite you to sit with. Is every disagreement a threat to our values? Or are we sometimes confusing discomfort with danger. Because if we only surround ourselves with people who agree with us, we're not building connection. We're building an echo chamber, and that's its own kind of loneliness. I have very close family members, people I love deeply, whose ideologies I fundamentally disagree with. And for a long time, I struggled with how to navigate them. Do I cut them out? Do I try to change their minds? Do I pretend the differences don't exist? And I tried all of those things, and none of it worked. What I've done is I've set a boundary. I do not discuss certain topics with them, not because I'm avoiding conflict, but because I'm protecting the relationship and protecting myself within it. And here is my hard line. If someone denies my humanity or the humanity of the people I love, that's not a difference of opinion. That is harm. And I do not negotiate that boundary. For relationships where the foundation of respect is still there, where we disagree on ideology, but still see each other as human, I've found another way. I've chosen to stay in the relationship by not putting myself in situations where I'm going to be triggered or where they're going to feel attacked. I've set boundaries around our conversation, and that is working for me. Not perfectly, not easily, but it's allowed me to hold both my love for them and my conviction in what I believe at the same time. And again, I want to be really clear. This is not about tolerating harm. This is not about staying in relationships where your dignity is being attacked or where you're being asked to betray yourself. There are absolutely situations and relationships where distance is necessary for your safety, for your sanity, for your peace, for your self-respect. What I am offering here is a perspective for when the relationship still matters to you and the foundation of mutual respect is still intact. I'm offering you my point of view, a way to turn the volume down on your resistance to these relationships, if that feels right for you. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Sometimes we need to practice self-reflection and ask ourselves if what we're calling a hard boundary is actually just closed-mindedness. Is the person actually denying my humanity, or do they just see the world differently than I do? And am I making that intolerable? There's a difference between I can't be around someone who doesn't believe I deserve rights, and I can't be around someone who voted differently than me. The first is about safety. The second is about comfort. And I'm not here to tell you which is which for you. Only you can know that. I am inviting you to sit with the question, to be honest with yourself about whether you're protecting your dignity or just protecting yourself from discomfort. If we only surround ourselves with people who agree with us, we are not building connection. We're building an echo chamber, and that's its own kind of loneliness. This brings me back to something I heard Brené Brown talk about recently. That you need to belong to yourself first before you can truly belong with others. She expressed it so beautifully in her book, Braving the Wilderness. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. And this is the inside job, beautiful people. When your sense of worth and safety comes from within, when you belong to yourself, disagreement doesn't feel like annihilation. You can stay grounded in your values without needing the other person to validate them. This does not mean you don't care what people think. It does not mean their beliefs don't hurt you. It means you're not outsourcing your sense of safety to being right or to others agreeing with you. When you belong to yourself first, you can weather disagreement without it destroying you or the relationship. Here's the shift I'm inviting. This isn't about convincing anyone to change their mind. It's not about pretending difference doesn't matter. It is about learning to hold space for both connection and conviction. It's about asking yourself, what do I actually need from this person? Do I need them to agree with me, or do I need them to love me? Can I stay true to myself while allowing them to be true to themselves? And sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the gap is too wide, or the harm is too real, or the cost to your peace is too high. And that's okay. You get to choose if the relationship still matters to you, if there's still mutual respect under the disagreement. Then maybe there's a way to stay connected without compromising who you are and what you believe in. Differences in ideologies don't just play out at the dinner table. These same dynamics fracture communities, divide cities, and tear nations apart. The way we lose connection with a family member over politics is the same way neighborhoods become hostile, the very same way entire societies polarize. It starts with us in our most intimate relationships, learning to stay human with each other. It can improve global division by fixing our relationships. Can it? If we can't figure how to love people we disagree with in our own lives, we have no hope of bridging the larger divides. Our relationships are the microcosm, and the work starts here with us in the messiness of trying to hold love and conviction at the same time. This is an inside job. The work isn't about fixing other people or finding the perfect words to bridge the gap. The work is about anchoring so deeply in your own worth and values that you can weather disagreement without it destroying you or the relationship. It's about belonging to yourself so fully that you don't need everyone to agree with you in order to feel safe. And that's hard work. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It does not come with a formula or a guarantee. It is the work that matters, though, because the alternative, cutting off everyone who sees the world differently, is not connection. It's isolation. Here's what I'd like to leave you with. You do not have to tolerate harm. You do not have to stay in relationships that cost you your dignity. And if there's someone you love who you disagree with, someone where the foundation of respect is still there, consider this. What if you could hold both your love for them and your conviction in what you believe? What if staying in the relationship did not mean betraying yourself? Instead, it meant showing up with enough self-love and groundedness to weather the difference. I don't have all the answers. I'm offering you my perspective, And I'm inviting you to practice some self-reflection about where your boundaries are and whether you're protecting your humanity or just protecting your comfort. Please share this episode with the people in your life who are navigating this too. This episode, including other shorts, is available on my YouTube channel. And please give a rating, a review. Follow the show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. As always, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And today, with love and deep compassion for how hard this work is, this comes straight from my heart to yours. I'll see you next week.